Witch Hat Atelier is one of those manga that you hear about by occasional praise from random people online, eventually leading you to picking it up and being unable to put it down. A fantastical story following the journey of a normal girl in a magical world and how she adapts to that, conveyed through beautiful artistry and some of the best writing I've seen in quite some time. As much as I would love to dive into everything that's happened so far in Witch Hat Atelier, I came here to talk about a specific message presented within the story. During the Silver Sight arc and the second Pentagram test arc, we begin to focus a bit more on a character by the name of Riche. A character who, up until this point, remained mainly as a background character. The second Pentagram arc, however, covers Riche as a character, her motivations, and her backstory, all of which lead to a beautiful self-realization moment, one that had me in shock. That moment is what I wanted to discuss today. Before we really get into who Riche is, I just want to throw out a reminder that if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, and comment on whether you've read Witch Hat Atelier or not. If you did, what do you think about it? Every time you click that thumbs up or type out your thoughts below, it helps push this video through the algorithm. This helps me out a lot. If you want to see more from me, feel free to hit the subscribe button as well. To begin, we need to understand what exactly the second Pentagram test is. In this world of witches, there are a lot of rules that witches must follow. As they grow, they are taught these rules, and these tests are to make sure they can put those rules into practice. The first Pentagram test is to test witches to see if they have the ability to become full-fledged witches. Upon passing, they are able to be accepted by a teacher. The second test, however, is to identify whether they are able to perform magic without being seen. In the world of Witch Hat Atelier, there are humans and there are witches. The only thing separating them is the knowledge on how to perform magic. The most important rule for the witch world is to never let humans see how they perform magic, going as far as to erase the memories of humans who do see them perform it. To pass the second test, they must escort a penguin-like creature called a Mirfin through a magical labyrinth without being seen performing magic. At the beginning of the second Pentagram test arc, we are led to believe that the only student of Qwifree's that is taking this test is Agate. A surprise addition is made at the last second though, as Riche is informed that an application was submitted on her behalf. This leads to Riche becoming enraged. Why, you may ask? This is all a part of who Riche is, and what makes her backstory hit that much harder. There are two significant parts to Riche's story. The first thematic message is in regards to how an adult can mold a child, forcing a child to do things in the way that they want it done versus believing in the ability of a child to get something done in their own way. The second theme resonates much deeper, however, as it involves finding one's own self-identity, and that which defines ourselves. In Riche's case, it's her magic which she holds so desperately onto, as she believes if there are any changes to this, she will no longer be the girl that her brother knows. Both of these themes are presented effectively and to a devastating degree. Before the test begins, Riche is shown to only be interested in her own magic. She doesn't want to read or learn about any other magic. When pressed on studying, she is quick to be angered, screaming that she doesn't want to read about any other magic, lashing out at Qwifree in the process. It is a purity-based thought process that she specifically states later to Coco. I don't need someone else's magic because I don't want to get Riche's magic dirty. As the test begins though, we start to see her thought process being questioned. There's a character in this arc who is a perfect contrast to Riche, Uni. Uni is a student who has taken this test multiple times before and failed each attempt. To make up for that, he remembered his way through the labyrinth and planned magic from his studies ahead of time. This ultimately backfiring at the first obstacle because he simply didn't expect it. It wasn't planned. There was a change. It was different from how he remembered it. While Riche is able to use her magic the way she wants to bypass the obstacle. In the second Pentagram test arc, there are so many themes. Whether it's those focused around Riche, Uni, or Agate, they are all presented with their own problems that they have to figure out. And they aren't even the main characters. Her own morality comes into question though. The idea of her only knowing her own magic becomes an issue when a Brimhat shows up, the series villains. Trying to get away, they create a bridge of ice to extend the pathway they are on and speed away. However, Uni isn't able to keep the ice going by himself, so he asks Riche for help, in which her only reply is, Riche doesn't know other magic very well. Uni does end up lending her his book of magic he had already drawn to help, but this was a very revealing moment for Riche. No matter how true she wants to stay to her own magic, that comes at its own limitations that could affect others. In this case, their very lives are at stake. A situation which completely throws Riche for a loop, causing her to rethink her motivation. We do delve into a flashback for Riche, which explains why she is the way she is, but the main takeaway is how her magic relates to her brother. Being proud of Riche's magic, and through that, her seeing the disappointment on his face when she is forced to use another type of magic to complete a test, or else she'll face the scrutiny of her teacher. This is what led her to be the way she is. At its core, it's a fear of growing up and maturing, for things to remain the way they were when she was a child, living at home with her brother. A point that is reiterated multiple times throughout this arc. First by Agate when she mentions that hating not being able to do something is normal, that it's a part of growing up and maturing. The second time it's mentioned by the Brim Hat when he tries to lure them to his side by saying they can have whatever they dream of through magic. For Riche, it is specifically a world in which she can remain a child forever. In her core, it's not that she's afraid of other magic, she's afraid of change and growing up. In regard to Riche's relationship with adults, it's a belief that adults want to force her to grow up, to not be herself. When Queefrey volunteers Riche for the second pentagram test, that is what she thinks he's doing. It's why she gets angry at him, calling him a liar, because he promised that she could do things the way that she wanted to. Volunteering her for this test was breaking that promise for Riche. Riche has a deep-seated hatred for adults imposing their will upon children, which leads into her flashback again, this time explaining why Riche feels the way she does about adults. Eventually going to the same school that her brother attended, she would come to be instructed by a teacher who would verbally and emotionally abuse her so that she would conform. Do it my way and only my way. This is what led Riche to her distrust of adults. It's trauma that she was unable to grow past because she has refused to grow for so long. Riche is a very complex character from Witch Hat Atelier, and she isn't the only one. The theme of refusing change, however, stuck out to me among all the other messages that I've seen up until this point that I couldn't not talk about it. There was a lot, and I mean a lot more than that within this arc that was a part of her character development, but I didn't want to spoil every single detail. If you haven't read Witch Hat Atelier, I highly recommend it. I'm nowhere near done, but this is just a fantastic story. I have no other words for it. Each character is full of life, the villains aren't one-dimensional, the overall plot helps to push the characters along too. I'm still mad at myself that it took me this long to start Witch Hat Atelier. But please, don't make the same mistake as me. Pick it up now. As always though, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. I hope to see you next time. Otherwise, peace.